I need to tell you something I've never told anyone. Not my husband of 23 years, not my 2 daughters, not even myself. Until 3 weeks ago, when everything I thought I knew about who I was shattered in a yoga studio on a random Tuesday evening. I'm 50 years old. Margaret Chen. Real estate attorney. Mother, wife, the woman who has every detail of her life planned, color-coded, and executed with precision. I've never missed a deadline. Never failed to meet an expectation, never deviated from the path I set for myself at 22. But that morning, standing in my marble bathroom, applying the same corporate coral lipstick I'd worn for a decade, my hands were shaking. "You're up early," David mumbled from our bed. I couldn't answer him. How could I explain that I'd barely slept? That something was crawling beneath my skin. Something urgent and terrifying and completely unfamiliar. That for the first time in my carefully constructed life, I didn't recognize myself in the mirror. I drove to work in a daze, my wedding ring catching the morning light. 23 years of marriage, a colonial house in the suburbs, 2 kids, in college, everything I dreamed of as a girl growing up in San Francisco's Chinatown. Watching my mother destroy her body, working 16-hour shifts at the restaurant. I'd promised myself I'd be different, successful, secure, respectable. I'd kept every promise. So why did I feel like I was suffocating? My phone buzzed at a red light. Emma, my youngest. "Mom, can we talk? Something's going on with me and Jake." Another boyfriend crisis. Emma went through men like I went through client contracts. At 22, she still didn't know what she wanted. I remember being that age, so absolutely certain of my path. Meet a good man, build a career, create stability, never struggle like my mother did. I'd done everything right, so why did everything feel so wrong? At the office, I was a disaster. Margaret Chen, who never missed a detail, overlooked 3 typos in a contract. I stared out the window during a conference call. I checked the clock obsessively. My yoga class was at 6. "You seem distracted," Sandra said, my paralegal of 8 years setting files on my desk. "Just tired," I lied. She raised an eyebrow. "You're never tired." "What's really going on?" I shuffled papers, avoiding her eyes. "Midlife crisis, maybe." "Well, whatever it is, you seem different, lighter, less certain, less certain." The words haunted me all afternoon. I'd built my entire existence on certainty, clear goals, calculated risks, no room for doubt or deviation. But certainty was exactly what I'd lost. At 30, I packed my yoga mat and changed into my workout clothes in the office bathroom. I caught my reflection and barely recognized the woman staring back. When had I become so carefully blank, so perfectly controlled? When had I stopped being real? The drive to Sacred Flow Studio took 20 minutes. 20 minutes of my heart pounding so hard I thought I might be having a heart attack. 20 minutes of telling myself I was being ridiculous, that I was just going to a yoga class, that nothing was happening, that nothing would happen. 20 minutes of lying to myself. Because the truth was everything had already happened. It happened 3 weeks ago on a Thursday evening, when I walked into that studio for the first time. My doctor had recommended yoga for stress management. "Your wound too tight, Margaret," she'd said. "Your blood pressure is concerning." So, I'd done what I always did. Research studios, read reviews, found the one with the best ratings and most convenient schedule. Sacred Flow Studio, Tuesday and Thursday evenings at 60 Odrid, beginner friendly. I'd arrived 15 minutes early, laid my brand new mat in the back corner and waited. And then, she walked in. Her name was Riley. Riley Martinez, 38 years old, though I didn't know that yet. Long dark hair pulled into a messy bun, brown skin that seemed to glow from within. Wearing simple, black leggings and a sports bra. Moving with a fluid grace that made my breath catch. "Welcome everyone," she said, her voice low and warm. "I'm Riley. For those who are new, this is a safe space. No judgment. No competition, just you and your body. Learning to listen to what it needs." I remember thinking, I have no idea what my body needs. I've spent 50 years ignoring it. The class started gently, basic poses, breathing exercises. Riley moved through the room, adjusting postures, offering encouragement. I was stiff, awkward, completely out of my element, but I was trying. "That's it, Margaret," she said softly, suddenly beside me. "Breathe into it. Let your body soften." Her hands touched my shoulders, guiding them down away from my ears. It was a normal adjustment, professional, appropriate. But my entire body lit up like I'd been struck by lightning. I told myself it was just because I wasn't used to being touched. David and I had fallen into a routine years ago. Perfunctory kisses, the occasional obligatory sex, but no real physical intimacy, no hands that lingered, no touch that meant anything. This was just different because it was new. That's what I told myself. For 3 weeks, I told myself that lie every Tuesday and Thursday. I showed up to class, laid my mat in the same spot, and pretended I wasn't waiting for Riley's hands on my body. Pretended I wasn't memorizing every word she said. Pretended I wasn't going home and lying awake next to my husband, replaying the moment she'd smiled at me. "You're making real progress," Riley had said last Thursday after class. Most of the other students had already left. "I can see you starting to let go of some of that control." "I'm not very good at letting go," I admitted. "I can tell." Her smile was gentle, understanding. "But that's what this practice is about. Learning to be present, to feel what's actually happening instead of what you think should be happening." I looked at her, really looked at her, and felt something crack open inside my chest. "Same time Tuesday?" she asked. "Yes, I said, my voice barely a whisper. And here I was, Tuesday evening, pulling into the parking lot, my hands gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles were white. I sat in my car for 5 minutes watching other students file into the studio. Regular people, normal people, people who were just here for a yoga class. People who weren't having their entire identity unraveled by a yoga instructor's smile. "This is insane," I whispered to myself. "You're 50 years old. You're married, you're straight." But even as I said it, I knew it was a lie. Or maybe not a lie. Maybe just incomplete. I walked into the studio on shaking legs. Riley was already there, setting up her mat at the front of the room. She looked up when I entered, and her face broke into a smile that made my heart stutter. "Margaret, I'm glad you came. Wouldn't miss it," I said, trying to sound casual, normal. Like a woman whose entire world wasn't tilting on its axis. I laid my mat in the usual spot, sat in a cross-legged position, tried to breathe normally. The class began. Flow? Sequences, warrior poses, downward dog. My body moved through the motions automatically, but my mind was racing. What was I doing here? What did I want? What was I hoping would happen? "Let's move into pigeon pose," Riley called out. "Remember to listen to your body. If it's too intense, modify." I folded into the pose, feeling the deep stretch in my hip. It burned. I breathed into it, and then Riley was there, kneeling beside me. "How does this feel?" she asked softly. "Intense," I managed. "Good, that means you're breaking through something." Her hands moved to my hips, adjusting my alignment. "Relax here. Let gravity do the work." Her hands stayed on my hips. Warm, steady, present for 5 seconds longer than necessary. And in those 5 seconds, the entire world stopped. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Couldn't pretend anymore that this was normal, that this was nothing, that I wasn't experiencing something I'd never felt in 23 years of marriage. Riley's hands lifted away. "Beautiful," she whispered, and I didn't know if she meant the pose or something else entirely. She moved to the next student, and I stayed frozen in pigeon pose. My hips screaming, my heart pounding, my entire life cracking apart. I couldn't go home after class. I sat in my car in the studio parking lot, watching other students leave. Watching the lights in the studio go dark. Riley's car was still there. A beat-up Honda with a coexist bumper sticker. I should leave. I should go home to David. I should stop. This before it became something, but it was already something. My phone rang. "David, where are you?" he asked. "Dinner's ready." "Still at yoga." I lied, running late again. These classes seem to be getting longer. "I'm just talking to some of the other students, making friends." Another lie. I hadn't spoken to anyone except Riley. "Well, hurry home. I recorded that documentary you wanted to watch." "Okay, see you soon." I hung up and dropped my phone in my lap. When had I become someone who lied so easily? I'd built my career on integrity, on being direct and honest. But how could I be honest when I didn't even know what the truth was? The studio door opened. Riley stepped out. Her yoga mat bag slung over her shoulder. She locked up, then turned toward her car and saw me sitting there. For a moment, we just looked at each other across the parking lot. The street light cast long shadows. The world felt suspended. She walked over to my car. I rolled down my window, my heart in my throat. "Are you okay?" she asked. Concern in her eyes. "I don't know," I said honestly. "I don't know what I am." Riley was quiet for a moment. "Then do you want to get coffee? There's a place down the street that's open late." I should say no. I should go home to my husband and my safe life and pretend this wasn't happening. "Yes," I heard myself say. The coffee shop was nearly empty. We sat in a corner booth, 2 cups of tea between us. I'd ordered chamomile, trying to calm my racing heart. Riley had gotten something called wild berry zinger. Everything about her seemed wild and alive in a way I'd forgotten was possible. "So," she said gently, wrapping her hands around her mug. "Do you want to tell me what's going on? I don't know where to start." "Start anywhere. There's no wrong way." I laughed bitterly. That's the problem. My whole life has been about doing things the right way, the perfect way, and now. I looked at her, really looked at her, at the kindness in her eyes, the patience, the complete absence of judgment. "I'm 50 years old," I said slowly. "I've been married for 23 years. I have 2 daughters, a career. I've worked my entire life to build a house in the suburbs, a retirement plan. Everything I thought I wanted, thought you wanted." The words hung in the air between us. "I don't know what I want anymore," I whispered. "All I know is that when you touch me during class, when you adjust my pose, I feel more alive than I've felt in decades, and that terrifies me." Riley was quiet. She took a sip of her tea, studying me. "Can I tell you something?" she finally said. I nodded. "I'm gay, I've been my whole life. Came out when I was 16, lost half my family, spent my 20s trying to prove I deserved to exist. It wasn't easy, still isn't sometimes." My chest tightened. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I recognize that look in your eyes, that terror, that confusion. I've seen it in the mirror. I'm not." I started, then stopped. "I've never been attracted to women. I've never questioned. I thought I knew who I was. Maybe you did know who you were at 22, at 30. But people change, we grow. We discover things about ourselves we didn't know were there." "I'm 50, I said again, as if that explained everything. "So, you think there's an age limit on self-discovery?" Riley smiled softly. "Margaret, some of the bravest people I know are the ones who figured themselves out later in life. It takes courage to question everything you thought you knew." I felt tears prick my eyes. "I don't feel brave. I feel like I'm losing my mind." "You're not losing your mind. You're finding yourself." We sat in silence for a moment. Outside, cars passed on the street. Normal people living normal lives. Not sitting in coffee shops having conversations that could destroy everything they'd built. "I can't do this," I said finally. "I have a family, responsibilities. I can't just blow up my life because I have a crush on my yoga instructor." The words sounded ridiculous, childish, a crush at 50. But Riley didn't laugh. She reached across the table and took my hand. The touch sent electricity through me. "I'm not asking you to blow up your life," she said quietly. "I'm not asking you for anything. But Margaret, you deserve to be honest with yourself about what you're feeling. You deserve to explore who you really are, not who you think you should be. And what if who I really am destroys everything? What if who you're pretending to be is already destroying you?" The question hit me like a physical blow. Because she was right. I'd been so busy building the perfect life, meeting everyone's expectations, being the daughter my immigrant parents could be proud of, the wife David deserved, the mother my daughters needed, the attorney my clients trusted. But somewhere along the way, I'd stopped being Margaret. I'd become a role, a performance, a carefully maintained facade, and I was so tired. "I need to go," I said, pulling my hand away. Even though every cell in my body wanted to keep touching her. "My husband is waiting." Riley nodded. "Okay, but Margaret, yeah, whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, it's valid. Don't let anyone tell you it's not. Not even yourself." I drove home in a Days, walked into my house, kissed David on the cheek, ate the dinner he'd made, watched the documentary he'd recorded. Went through all the motions of being a wife, but inside I was falling apart. Or maybe I was falling together. I couldn't tell anymore. The next morning, I called in sick to work for the first time in 3 years. David was concerned. "Should I stay home with you?" No. I just need rest. I'll be fine. He left for his job at the accounting firm, and I sat in my empty house surrounded by the evidence of my perfect life. Family photos on the walls. Daughter's artwork from elementary school. Wedding pictures, where I looked so young, so certain. Had I ever been happy, really happy? Or had I just been relieved to have done everything correctly? My phone rang. Sandra from work. Are you okay? You're never sick. I'm fine. Just need a day. Margaret. You've been off for weeks. Is something going on? You can talk to me. Could I tell anyone? I think I'm having a crisis, I admitted. Join the club. Everyone has a crisis eventually. What kind are we talking? Career, marriage, empty nest, identity, I said quietly. Sandra was silent for a moment. Okay, that's a big one. I don't know who I am anymore. I thought I did. I was so sure. And now everything feels wrong. Nothing specific happened. I thought about Riley's hands on my hips, her smile. The way my body came alive, under her touch. Something specific happened, I whispered. Want to tell me about it? I don't think I can. Is it new? Is it hurting anyone? Not yet, but it might. Then maybe. Sandra said carefully. You need to figure out what's more important. Protecting other people's expectations or protecting yourself. After we hung up, I sat on my couch for hours staring at nothing. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Hi, it's Riley. Got your number from the studio roster. Hope that's okay. Just wanted to check in. You seemed shaken last night. No pressure to respond. Just wanted you to know I'm here if you need to talk. I stared at the message for a full minute. Then I typed, can I see you? Not at the studio. Somewhere private. Her response came immediately, yes. When? Today? Now? Send me your address. I'll come to you? I hesitated. Inviting her to my house felt dangerous. Crossing a line. But what line hadn't I already crossed? I sent my address. 45 minutes later, the doorbell rang. Riley stood on my doorstep in jeans and a flannel shirt. Looking nervous, she said, hi. We stood there awkwardly for a moment. Should I come in? I stepped aside. She walked into my foyer, looking around at my carefully decorated home. The neutral colors, the tasteful art, the complete absence of personality. Nice house, she said. It's a lie, I blurted out. All of this, the house, the marriage, the life, it's all a lie. Riley turned to face me. Margaret, I've been lying to myself for 50 years. The words poured out of me. Thought I was straight. I thought I was happy. I thought I wanted this life. But the truth is, I've been performing. I've been playing a role. I've been so busy being what everyone else needed that I never stopped to ask what I needed. And what do you need? I looked at her. This woman I barely knew. This woman who'd somehow unlocked something in me I didn't know existed. I don't know, I admitted. All I know is that when I'm with you, I feel real, alive, like myself. And I've never felt that way with anyone else, not even my husband. Riley took a step closer. Have you ever been with a woman? No. Never even thought about it, I mean. I had close, female friends in college, but I thought everyone felt that way about their friends. What way? Intense, consuming. Like I wanted to spend every second with them. Like their opinion mattered more than anything. Like, I trailed off, the realization hitting me. Oh my God, yeah. Riley said gently. I've been lying to myself. Or maybe you just didn't have the language for what you were feeling. It's not lying if you don't know the truth. I sank onto my couch, my legs giving out. Riley sat beside me, careful to maintain space between us. What do I do now? I whispered. I'm 50 years old. I have a husband who loves me. Daughters who look up to me, a career that defines me. I can't just blow all of that up. You don't have to blow anything up. But you do have to be honest with yourself at minimum. And if I'm honest, then what? I tell David I might be gay. I ruin our daughter's image of their family. I become the cliché of the woman who leaves her husband for her yoga instructor. Is that what you think this is? A cliché, isn't it? Riley was quiet for a long moment. Margaret, I don't know what this is. I don't know if you're gay or bisexual or just questioning or experiencing something specific to me. What I do know is that you deserve to explore it. You deserve to understand yourself. I'm scared. I know. What if I lose everything? What if you find yourself? We sat in silence outside. I could hear a neighbor mowing their lawn. Normal suburban sounds. A normal suburban day. But nothing about my life was normal anymore. "Can I ask you something?" I said quietly. "Anything. Do you feel this too, or am I just projecting? Am I just a confused, middle-aged woman having a breakdown and you're being kind?" Riley turned to face me fully. "You want the truth? Please." "Yes, I feel it too. From the moment you walked into my class, I felt it. The way you move, the intensity in your eyes, the way you're so careful and controlled. But I can see something wild underneath. I see you, Margaret, the real you, and she's beautiful." My breath caught. But Riley continued, "You're married. You're questioning everything. You're vulnerable. And I won't take advantage of that. Whatever happens between us, if anything happens, needs to be your choice, your timing, your terms. What if I don't know what I want? Then we figure it out together. As friends, if that's all you can handle, as something more, if that's where this goes, but there's no rush. There's no pressure." I looked at her, this kind, patient, beautiful woman who was offering me space to be confused, to be scared, to be myself. "Can I try something?" I whispered. "What? Can I kiss you just once? Just to know, just to see if what I'm feeling is real." Riley's eyes searched mine. "Are you sure?" "No, but I need to know." She leaned in slowly, giving me every opportunity to change my mind. And then her lips touched mine, soft, gentle, questioning, and the entire world exploded. I pulled away, gasping, my entire body shaking. "Oh my God," I breathed. "Oh my God." Riley watched me carefully, her hand reaching out but not touching. "Are you okay?" "I'm 50 years old," I said, my voice breaking. "I'm 50 years old and I just had my first real kiss." The words hung in the air because it was true. In 23 years of marriage, in all the boyfriends before that, in all the physical intimacy I'd experienced, I'd never felt what I just felt in that single moment. I'd never felt wanted, seen, real. I started crying. Not gentle tears, but huge gasping sobs. 23 years of pretending, 50 years of performing, decades of playing a role, meeting expectations, being what everyone else needed. And in one kiss, it all shattered. Riley pulled me into her arms and I collapsed against her, sobbing into her shoulder. "I'm so sorry," I managed between gasps. "I'm such a mess." "You're not a mess, you're human. I don't know what to do. I don't know who I am. I don't know how to fix this." "Maybe you don't fix it. Maybe you just feel it." We sat like that for a long time. Her arms around me, my tears soaking her shirt. Outside, the world continued. Normal people living normal lives. Not having identity crisis at 50, not kissing women for the first time while their husband was at work. Eventually, I pulled away, wiping my face. "I need to tell David," I said. "Are you sure? You don't have to rush into anything. I can't lie anymore. I can't pretend. Even if I don't have all the answers. I owe him the truth." "What will you say?" "I don't know, but I'll figure it out." Riley stood. "I should go. Give you space to think. Will I see you again? Do you want to?" "Yes, God. Yes. But I need to deal with my life first." She nodded. "I understand. Take your time. Figure things out. I'm not going anywhere." At the door, she turned back. "Margaret, yeah. You're braver than you think." After she left, I sat in my empty house staring at my phone. I should call David. I should text Emma and Julia. I should contact my therapist, who I hadn't seen in 5 years because I was too busy. But instead, I looked at myself in the mirror. Really looked. And for the first time in 50 years, I saw someone real. David came home at 6. I'd been rehearsing what to say all afternoon, but when he walked through the door, all my carefully planned words evaporated. "Feeling better?" he asked. Loosening his tie. "We need to talk." Something in my voice made him freeze. "Is everything okay? Are you sick? Is it the kids?" "Everyone's fine physically, but David, I need to tell you something, and I need you to listen without interrupting." He sat down slowly on the couch, his face pale. "You're scaring me." "I know. I'm scared, too." I sat across from him, my hands shaking. 23 years of marriage, 2 kids, a lifetime of shared history. "I've been going to yoga classes I started. I know you've mentioned it. There's an instructor there. Her name is Riley." I watched his face change as he understood. "Her," he said quietly. "I kissed her today." The silence was deafening. David stood up, paced to the window, stared out at our perfectly manicured lawn. "How long?" he finally asked. "How long?" "What? How long have you been having an affair?" "I'm not having an affair." Today was the first time we just kissed once. That's all. That's all. He turned and I saw anger flash across his face. You just kissed another person and you're acting like that's nothing. I'm not saying it's nothing. I'm saying I'm trying to be honest with you. Honest? You want honesty? How about you've been lying to me for 23 years? The accusation hit hard because it was true. You're right, I said quietly. I have been lying to you, to myself, to everyone. But I didn't know I was lying. I thought I was who I was supposed to be. And who are you supposed to be now? A lesbian at 50 after 2 kids and 23 years of marriage. I don't know what I am, David. That's what I'm trying to figure out. He laughed bitterly. Well, that's just great. My wife is having a midlife crisis and experimenting with women. This is every man's nightmare. This isn't about you. Not about me. Our marriage isn't about me. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean, Margaret? Because from where I'm standing, you just told me you kissed someone else and don't know if you're attracted to men anymore. How is that not about me? I had no answer because he was right. This was about him, about our marriage, about the life we built together. But it was also about me. About the woman I'd never let myself be. I'm sorry, I whispered. Sorry, that's it, 23 years and all I get is sorry. What do you want me to say? I want you to tell me this is a mistake. That you're confused, that you're going to stop seeing this woman and go to therapy and fix whatever is broken. What if I can't fix it? What if this is who I am? David sank back onto the couch, his head in his hands. I don't know what to do with that, Margaret. I don't know how to process that my wife of 23 years might be gay. I don't know either. All I know is I can't lie anymore. I can't pretend. I can't keep living a life that doesn't feel real. And what about me? What about our daughters? What about everything we've built? I don't have those answers yet. We sat in silence. The clock on the wall ticked. The refrigerator hummed. Outside, someone was playing music. I think you should stay somewhere else, David finally said. I need time to think, to process this. Okay, and Margaret, yeah, I hope you find whatever it is you're looking for. But I hope you understand what you're destroying in the process. I packed a bag and drove to a hotel, a nice one, downtown with room service and overpriced wine. I checked in, went to my room, and collapsed on the bed. Then I called Emma. Mom, what's up? I need to tell you something. Okay. Her voice was cautious. You sound weird. Are you okay? I'm at a hotel. Your dad and I had a fight, a big one. Oh my God. Are you guys getting divorced? The word felt surreal. Divorced at 50 after 23 years. I don't know, maybe? Emma, I need to tell you something and I need you to listen with an open mind. You're freaking me out. I've been questioning my sexuality. Silence. Emma, I'm here. I'm just processing. You're questioning your sexuality. Mom, you're 50. You've been married forever. I know, but age doesn't make you immune to self-discovery. I kissed a woman today, and it made me realize I might have been lying to myself. More silence. Are you mad? I asked quietly. Mad? No, I'm just shocked. I had no idea. Were there signs? Did Dad know? No one knew. I didn't know. But now I can't unknow it. Emma was quiet for a long moment. Mom, can I be honest with you, please? Part of me isn't that surprised. What? You've always been so controlled, so perfect, like you were playing a role. Julia and I used to joke that you were like a robot programmed to be the perfect wife and mother. We never saw you be truly happy or passionate about anything. The observation stung because it was true. I'm sorry, I whispered. I'm sorry I wasn't more real with you. Don't apologize. Just be real now. Figure out who you are. Julia and I are adults. We can handle it. But Mom, yeah, you deserve to be happy. Actually happy. Not just perfectly performing happiness. I started crying again. I love you so much. I love you too. And Mom, for what it's worth, whoever you are, whatever you figure out, we're here, okay? After we hung up, I called Julia. Had almost the same conversation. She was more shocked, asked more questions, but ultimately said the same thing. We just want you to be happy. My daughters were more accepting than I'd been of myself. I ordered room service, drank too much wine, stared out the window at the city lights. Then I texted Riley. I told David, I'm at a hotel. Can we talk? She called immediately. Are you okay? I don't know. I'm scared. I'm confused. I'm free. I'm trapped. I'm everything and nothing. Where are you? I'm coming to you, Riley. You don't have to. I'm coming. Send me the address. She arrived 40 minutes later carrying Thai food and a bottle of wine. Figured you might need both, she said. We sat on my hotel room floor eating pad Thai out of containers, and I told her everything about David, about my daughters, about the wreckage of my carefully constructed life. Do you regret it? Riley asked, telling him, I thought about it. Really thought about it. No, I finally said, I regret lying for 23 years, but I don't regret being honest now. What happens next? I don't know. Therapy, probably. Lawyers, maybe a lot of difficult conversations. Figuring out who I am and what I want. And us. I looked at her. This woman who'd cracked me open, who'd shown me a version of myself I didn't know existed. I don't know what we are, I said honestly. All I know is that when I'm with you, I feel alive, real, like myself. And that's terrifying and exhilarating and completely new. We can take this slow, Riley said. We can be friends while you figure things out. Can we? Can you really be friends with someone after you've kissed them? After? You've changed their entire life. I think we can be whatever we need to be. She reached out, took my hand. We sat like that for a long time, her hand in mine. The city lights twinkling outside. Thank you, I whispered. For what? For seeing me. For helping me see myself. 6 months later, I sat in my new apartment. A small one-bedroom downtown. Nothing like the suburban house I'd left behind. Minimally decorated, still, figuring out who I was, and what I wanted my space to look like. I was 50 and 102 years old, separated in therapy twice a week, slowly, painfully figuring out who Margaret Chen actually was. Beneath all the roles I'd played, the divorce wasn't finalized yet. David and I were being civil, trying to co-parent our adult children, dividing assets, untangling 23 years of shared life. It was messy and painful and necessary. Emma and Julia were adjusting. They'd met Riley cautiously and were trying to understand. They had questions I couldn't always answer. But they were trying, and that meant everything. Riley and I were taking things slow, dating, but not rushing, learning each other. I was learning myself. Who I was attracted to, what I wanted, what felt authentic, versus what I'd been taught to want. Some days were harder than others. Some days I missed the certainty of my old life, the routine, the predictability. But most days I felt alive in a way I never had before. My phone rang, Sandra from work. Hey, so I have news, the partners want to make you managing partner. What? Sandra, I've been a mess for 6 months. Yeah, and you've also been more authentic, more human. Clients love it. You're still brilliant, but now you're relatable. So, what do you say? I thought about it. The old Margaret would have jumped at the opportunity. More responsibility. More prestige, more proof that she'd made it. But the new Margaret, the real Margaret, had different priorities. Can I think about it? Take your time. But Margaret, yeah. I'm proud of you for being brave enough to blow up your life and find yourself. After we hung up, I stood at my window, looking out at the city. 50 years old, starting over. Figuring out who I was, who I wanted to be, who I'd always been beneath the performance. It was terrifying. It was liberating. It was real. My phone buzzed. Riley, dinner. Tonight. There's a new Thai place I want to try. I smiled, yes. Pick me up at 700s. It's a date. A date at 50 with a woman with my yoga instructor. The cliche of it all should have bothered me. Should have made me feel ridiculous. But instead, I felt free. Because here's what I've learned. There's no expiration date on self-discovery. No age limit on authenticity. No deadline for becoming who you actually are. I spent 50 years being who I thought I should be. Now I'm spending however many years I have left being who I actually am. And it started with a yoga class, a teacher's gentle touch, and the courage to ask myself, what if everything I thought I knew about myself was wrong? The answer changed everything. I'm 51 now, officially divorced, still in therapy, still teaching myself who I am. Riley and I moved in together 3 months ago. It's not perfect. We fight about dishes and whose turn it is to do laundry. She's messy. I'm controlling, we're learning. But every morning I wake up, next to someone who sees me, really sees me. And I see her back. Emma is getting married next spring to her girlfriend. Turns out she was figuring herself out too. She told me that watching me be brave helped her be brave. Julia is still straight. but says she finally understands why all her relationships felt flat. I was dating men I thought I should like instead of men I actually liked. She told me, "You taught me that." David is dating someone, a woman, from his office. I'm happy for him. He deserves someone who actually wants him, not someone performing wanting him. The partners made me managing partner. I said yes because it turns out being authentically yourself makes you better at everything, including your job. My mother, who I thought would disown me, surprised me. I worked 16 hours a day so you could have choices, she said in Cantonese. So choose. I teach yoga now on weekends. Riley taught me. I'm not as good as she is, but I love it. I love helping people reconnect with their bodies, find themselves, let go of who they think they should be. Sometimes students come up to me after class, usually women, usually older, and they have that look in their eyes, that confusion, that terror, that awakening. And I tell them what Riley told me. You deserve to understand yourself. You deserve to explore who you really are. It's never too late. Because here's the truth I learned at 50. It's never too late to become yourself. It's never too late to be real. It's never too late to come home to who you've always been. I just needed someone to hold my hips a little too long in pigeon pose to show me the way.